So hi, I welcome you to today's video. In this particular video, I will try my level best to make you understand that how your mind influences your body, and I will make you understand in a scientific way. All right. So we can say that, is your mind capable of tricking your body either positively or negatively? How you can trick your body using your mind, if I want to put the same across in some other way. So, with that being said, I will teach you, I will share my learnings with you about a very, very important topic, which is of neuropeptides. What is it? That you will be coming to know in this particular video. And if the length of the video it gets like it becomes a bit lengthy, all right, so then I might have to break this video into subparts. So there will be part 1, part 2, part 3. It depends that I have to understand how much time I will require in order to completely transfer, share my thoughts, not transfer, in order to properly and accurately share my thoughts, so that whatever I have to tell you in regards to this particular topic, I will tell it to you in detail. So let's start. See, before we proceed to understand what exactly is neuropeptides, I have to tell you about the introduction part that will lead to the neuropeptides topic. The foundation I have to lay it down properly. And the foundation I have to lay down by telling you, by reminding you that I have explained, pointed out, discussed, shared multiple number of times, innumerable number of times, that negative thinking can affect your body negatively. All right. Too much negative and stressful thinking are the major cause and reason for mental illnesses like anxiety, OCD, depression, etc. And I am telling you all of these because I have to explain to you, or I will be explaining to you about all of these things, that how negative and stressful thinking, it takes a negative toll on your body. You all will know this surely by now, but I will explain it to you scientifically, that how this negative and stressful thinking is negatively impacting your body. And that scientific explanation will include the topic of neuropeptides. So, in this particular video, it might be a single video or it can be in parts. I will explain to you, I will try my best to explain to you in very simple and in very comprehensible terms, all right, that why and how your negative thinking affects your physiology negatively. I will try my best to explain the science and actuality behind this. All right. So let's start with the main topic of neuropeptides. Now we all have to understand that we human beings, we are a host to certain chemical soup in our body. And this chemical soup inside our body is completely created by the way we are approaching our daily life. our thinking, our lifestyle. Majorly, I want to tell you it is about the thinking and thought process. That is your mindset and emotions, which creates this chemical soup in your body. Also, in our body, there are particular cells which are responsible to create reaction and responses. All right, these cells, they sit quietly and innocently. All right, such cells will function only by reading our chemical soup for clues, like based on how we are creating our chemical soup, this particular cells will learn to respond in a certain way. How now? This chemical or this cells, they read our chemical soup for clues on how to respond. That is number one. These particular cells, by reading the chemical soup, they try to understand that what they think is happening in our external world and environment. Also, they also think, the particular cells also think that what will be the most appropriate response for us, that is in accordance to whatever is happening in our external world and environment. So these two things are being comprehended by this particular cells in their own way, but they only do this by reading and understanding our chemical soup that is going on inside us. So, three golden learnings you need to keep in mind. One is our mind and our thinking thought process, they influence our chemical soup inside our body. Number two is our cells, some particular cells, they read our chemical soup for clues on how to react and how to respond. And number three, these particular cells that we already have inside our body, they create and they trigger our physical responses and reactions. That is fear, love, hunger, excitement, anger, bodily sensations, etc. Now, with that being said, now let's understand the fascinating concept of neuropeptides and its use and importance. Now, our body produces around 300 types of neuropeptides. In very simple and plain terms, neuropeptides are our body's emotional messengers that informs or tells our those particular cells what is going on in our external world, and these neuropeptides, they instruct each cell to get ready for some sort of anticipated event. That is, I fear, love, hunger for food, temperature changes, etc. In other terms, neuropeptides are molecules that are released by our body in response to our thoughts, thinking, and perception about our own self, also about external events. So it is these neuropeptides that forms and creates our body's chemical soup. All right. Also, you need to understand that there are two types of neuropeptides. One is fear-based or fear-creating neuropeptides, and number two is happy, calm, and feel good neuropeptides. So there are these two neuropeptides that are generally, there, or they are formed in our body. If our thoughts and thinking patterns are fearful or anxious or stressful, our body will release the fear based neuropeptides. On the other hand, if our thoughts and thinking patterns are optimistic, happy, calm, our body will then release the feel good neuropeptides. So let's dive into a bit more in depth in understanding how these neuropeptides scientifically work. All right. Now each cell of our body, they have numerous receptors for all of these 300 types of neuropeptides. Now these receptors, they act like a dock, which they dock like a key in a lock, and they begin a protein chain reaction. All right, thus our cells kick into a particular reaction. So again, I'm repeating, the cells that are there in our body, they have receptors for all of these 300 types of neuropeptides. And these neuropeptides, they get stuck to our cell using these receptors. All right, that's why I had mentioned that it docks like a key in a lock, like a key, they go inside a lock. Similarly, a neuropeptide, they go inside a cell, or the cell, they attract a neuropeptide using their receptors. And the type of neuropeptide it attracts, that again, it depends on our body's chemical soup. And after a neuropeptide is locked in a particular cell, a protein chain reaction occurs, which is responsible for our cell to kick into a particular reaction. Now, if our body's chemical soup is full of fear-based neuropeptides, that is because of our continuous, frequent, anxious, fearful, stressful thinking, overthinking, then what happens is the cells that are present in our body, they will feel that a real danger is lurking out there and will respond and react according to its feeling and reading. And again, our cells are only feeling this because of our chemical soup, which is again formed because of our continuous, frequent overthinking, stressful thinking, irrational thinking, unhealthy thinking, fearful thinking, etc. So this is exactly the way our mind influences our body. Now let's jot down 2 key learnings before I end this part of the video. All right, so I have to break down this particular topic into multiple parts. Otherwise, if I share all of my learnings related to neuropeptides in one single video, the length is going to be too long. All right, so I want to share 2 key learnings from whatever I had discussed before I wrap up this part of the video. And what are these 2 key learnings? One is, our body's chemical soup may not be the truth of what is actually happening externally. Our body's chemical soup is simply just based on our mental reactions, thoughts, thinking patterns about our external events. All right. Number two is, as our cells, they are reacting to only our self created chemical soup. It means that our cells, they react and respond to our story of external events. And it is very important to note that our story of external events might not be the reality. It is our perception of what we are assuming about our, suppose, our own self or about our external events. So this is what I wanted to discuss in part 1 of this video. I will continue with this topic in part 2. So please come back, join back for part 2 of this very, very important and interesting topic of neuropeptides.